Morning Tucson starts right now.
New today on Good Morning Tucson, the company was supposed to help recharge the Arizona economy. So what's the holdup for Lucid Motors?
Plus a tribute to the fallen, the touching memorial for the Brazilian soccer team killed in that deadly plane crash. But first, a breaking update to that story out of the state of Washington. A deadly end to a barricade situation that took the life of a Tacoma police officer earlier. The ABC station in Seattle is reporting police have shot and killed the 38-year-old gunman who barricaded himself after shooting the officer. We still don't know the full identity of the officer, but we know he was 45 years old. He'd been on the Tacoma police force since 1999. Another police officer gunned down while responding to a domestic violence call.
I hate hearing about it.
Exactly. Good morning, Tucson. More news on that and other stories coming up. I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Samantha Cortese. Let's turn back to southern Arizona with a check of weather. Near freezing again, April Madison. A good time to break out those coats.
Yeah, I mean, it's cold either way, even at 34. What's, 2 more degrees at freezing, and there's a good chance that we are going to hit that freezing mark before it starts to go up. So we're at 34 in Tucson right now, 36 in Sierra Vista, 26 though in Safford. So all those freeze warnings still in effect until 9 a.m. We're only going to hit about 38 by the 8 o'clock hour, 60 by noon, expecting to top out a few degrees warmer, right around 64 for the high today, but still below average, right back down to the low 50s now by 8 o'clock. So bundle up as you head out the door. How's it looking on the roads, Big Al?
Not bad, April. A minute after 6, we do have some new work going on. It's a continuation of what they've been doing, but they have been doing off and on closures right off of Tangerine Road over the last few weeks to run water lines across different parts of Tangerine. A lot of work going on to improve Tangerine Road from Dove Mountain mainly east. East and westbound are sharing half the roadway, and they're doing this widening project over the next several months. Today, some water line work temporarily closing a little road east of Thornydale. Not so little, it's commercial. Tangerine crossing 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Don't use it. Use Thornydale as your north and southbound alternative. That's the latest from the Beat the Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. Another night of near freezing temperatures may have you turning on your fireplace for the very first time.
Lighting it properly will make sure you're not putting your home or your family in danger. 9 on your side's Alexa Liaco's live on the east side. With that, you can heat your house safely this winter. Ah, yes, Alexa, warm your hands.
Yes, a real fireplace or your virtual fireplace is really not the best way to heat your home. It's better to turn your furnace on. But if you're going to light your fire for the first time this winter, the number one thing TFD wants you to do is make sure to clear that chimney. Now take a look at this. Earlier this week in South Tucson, firefighters had to clear out a chimney. It's caught on fire because there was something growing inside of it. So as funky as that sounds, that is the number one thing you want to check. Also, always open the damper before you light that first fire and any fire. That will make sure the smoke goes up and out of the house and not into your living room. Additionally, don't overload the fireplace. Just use a few pieces of wood at a time and make sure you close that screen to keep embers from flying out, especially if you're going to leave the room while that fireplace is on. Just keep that fire hazard down. The last thing TFD asks and recommends is that you don't burn pages from a magazine or a newspaper because the ink can be toxic and release toxic fumes. So just play it safe and just keep small dry pieces of wood in your fireplace. Live from the east side, Alexa Liaco, KGUN 9 on your side.
Alexa, thank you. A California firm is investing nearly $700 million to build an auto manufacturing plant in Casa Grande and create more than 2,000 jobs.
Governor Doug Ducey's big announcement was made earlier this week, but it left out an important fact, and it has to do with the money to build the plant. 9 on your side's Carlos Herrera joins us live in studio with more. Carlos, it's generated a lot of speculation about where this money is going to come from.
Yeah, Pat, the plant is scheduled to open by 2022, but the company still lacks the funds to cover the full cost of it. A Lucid Motors spokesperson says the company's bank account only ranges a few $100 million. However, Lucid Motors says it's sure it can raise the rest of the money before they begin construction. A spokesperson announced the company is counting on profits from the first vehicles off the assembly line, which are scheduled to roll off in 2018, something the Arizona Commerce Authority isn't concerned about. And in fact, they say they are happy that Lucid Motors currently has enough funding for the first phase of the project. Meantime, Lucid Motors is currently chasing new investors, most of which are Chinese. Governor Doug Ducey is optimistic and believes the company will raise the money and open in time. Pat, back to you.
Carlos, thank you. Overnight in Colombia, a touching memorial for the victims of that plane crash that killed 71 people, including members of a Brazilian soccer team. Thousands of fans in white filled the Medellin Stadium. That's where the team from Chapecó, Brazil, was scheduled to play last night. Instead, fans chanted words of encouragement from the stands as ceremonies commemorating the victims took place on the field. In the aftermath, the team's opponent, Atlético Nacional, has formally asked that the team's title be awarded to that Brazilian club, so they will be recognized as a South American champion. Sam.
Classy move. Thanks, Pat. The city of Tucson is working to combat a growing number of hate crimes. Since the election, hate crimes have increased in cities throughout the country, many of them targeting Muslims, African Americans, and members of the LGBTQ community. Mayor Jonathan Rothschild joined Police Chief Chris Magnus in leading a We Stand Together initiative.
Tucson does not and will not stand for hate, discrimination, or bullying of any kind.
More than 200 people attended the event at the YWCA. They also hosted an educational training session to teach civilians how to protect themselves if they become victims of hate crimes. Tucson police began their crisis intervention program for 9 agencies from across southern Arizona. It is one of the oldest and largest programs in the country. More than 40 law enforcement personnel will go through a series of lectures and scenarios to prepare themselves to handle and interact with a person in crisis.
It's not always what you say, it's how you say it, how you're standing, how you present yourself. On top of that, it's also understanding where they're coming from and doing observations on them, because communication's a two-way street. It's not just one way.
Officers are no strangers to mental health calls. This week allows them to practice their communication skills and be able to better understand and connect with a person with mental health issues.
Happening today, President-elect Donald Trump starts the first leg of his thank you tour. He's kicking things off with a stop in Cincinnati, Ohio, a state where he spent 17 days during the 2016 campaign. He plans on holding a rally at U.S. Bank Arena. It's not clear where else Trump plans on visiting, but his team has said he'll make several stops in states he won during the election and a few stops where he didn't win.
Before stopping in Cincinnati, though, Donald Trump and Vice President-elect Mike Pence will be in Indiana. They'll make a stop there to officially announce a deal brokered with the air conditioning company Carrier. Just a few days ago, Trump announced he reached an agreement with the company to keep 1,000 Mexico-bound jobs in the United States. The company says the agreement is doable because Trump is promising a, quote, improved, more competitive U.S. business climate. A big help from Mother Nature against those wildfires raging in Tennessee. Heavy rain put out the fires, but it looks like the region can't catch a break. Why those storms are too much of a good thing.
Plus, Porch Pirates caught on camera how one neighborhood is making sure a scene like this doesn't happen again. The time coming up on 6:08. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
A bomb went down a smokestack of the Arizona and exploded the forward magazine. With the stricken vessel, we see the battleships Tennessee and West Virginia hit and on fire. There were 8 battleships in the harbor. All were damaged by the bomb and torpedo attack.
75 years ago today, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. On this special broadcast of Good Morning Tucson, we're looking into how people around the nation and right here in the Old Pueblo will remember the attacks on Pearl Harbor. Good Morning Tucson, I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Samantha Cortese, live at the University of Arizona USS Memorial at the mall on campus. We are right next to the 1,177 medallions honoring and respecting those who died at the USS Arizona 75 years ago today. Coming up, we'll talk a lot more about those lives lost and how you can pay your respects throughout the morning. Pat.
All right, Sam, and first up, we'll get a check on weather with April Mattis. And as we begin our remembrances today of the 75th anniversary, the sun will soon be coming up to a cloudy morning here in Tucson. April?
A break here and there, but for the most part, we're still seeing quite a bit of cloud cover out there and even a little bit of rain. A few sprinkles has pushed into the southern portion of Pima County. Right now, we're going to see that blanket of clouds again start to break up, but then we'll see more come in. So partly to mostly cloudy is how we're going to spend the day. That keeps temps warmer in the morning, but cooler in the afternoon. We've now dipped to 49 with a little bit of a break at the airport. We will likely continue to see that go down another degree or two, but then once it starts to go up with more clouds planned throughout the day, we'll only hit about 64, possibly 65 for
for the high today, and we'll hold on to the 60s for a few days before those 70s return. How are the roads looking, Big Al?
Not bad, April. A minute after 6. We don't have any infamous construction activity going on this morning, but there is something that's pretty significant if you're coming up from the Green Valley, Sahuarita area, points further south, Nogales, Tubac to McCockery, this area. Northbound is going to catch you until just a little after 6 o'clock. They're doing overnight bridge deck work. This is an ADOT project. They're repairing all the decks on the bridges from Sahuarita up toward the area of San Javier, and they do the work overnight. That's the latest from the Beat the Traffic Center.
All right, Big Al, thank you very much. 6:02 now. It's been an issue that has generated a lot of controversy among public transportation users. A rise in fares for SunTrans, SunLink, and SunShuttle. It's the first price hike in 5 years. 9 on your side's Carlos Herrera joins us now with more on how much riders can expect to pay come January 1st. Carlos, it is a fare raise.
Well, the plan calls for the full cash fare to increase 25 cents and the economy fare for low-income riders to hike 10 cents. Cash prices will jump to $1.75 from $1.50 for full fare riders and to 75 cents for economy customers. Express bus riders will pay $2.25 compared to the $2 fare they had been paying the last 5 years. Now, the economy 30-day fare will be $18 in 2017 and $22.50 the following year. Fares for full price Sunvan passengers will remain the same in 2017, although low-income riders will see a jump of 50 cents. The fare increases will be accompanied by some good news, though. Riders who use their SunGo card will pay a discounted rate. Pat, back to you.
All right, Carlos, thank you. 6:03 today does mark the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. While there will be many events to commemorate the day, a must-see memorial has risen at the University of Arizona. Samantha Cortese joins us live from the USS Arizona Mall Memorial there, and I can't wait to see it, Sam. I saw it being built, but now it's completed, and it looks really spectacular.
It really is, Pat. It was just dedicated on Sunday. The medallions here are still shiny. You can go through and see what each person did, their name, their rank, how old they were. So many of those who died on that day were 17 to 22 years old. 1,177 medallions right here on the U of A campus. In fact, we're very lucky to have something so simple to come by and pay your respects for something so devastating all those years ago, 75 years ago to the day. The memorial is nearly the exact size of the ship's deck, all around the mall, 600 feet long, nearly to the inch, in fact, outlined with these bronze medallions that you can see. Just come by, pay tribute. Doesn't cost you anything. And we do want to look at what happened in Hawaii real time and what's going on there for Memorial Reunion at Pearl Harbor. Survivors there were sharing their stories on board the USS Arizona ahead of the anniversary. Here, listen to what a couple of them had to share with the people at that ceremony.
When they said abandoned ship, the ones that was on the deck got into a boat and was taken around the stern of the Arizona over onto Ford Island.
We sacrificed 1,177 men on that ship, and I was one of the lucky ones to get off.
And Governor Doug Ducey was at that memorial yesterday. He tweeted a couple pictures with the oldest survivor of Pearl Harbor still with us today. And one other Twitter account I want to bring attention to, we've retweeted it at KGUN, and I have as well. It's the USS Arizona, and they're going through real time, tweeting what was happening at this moment 75 years ago. In fact, they say the Japanese attack fleet was continuing its course south toward Hawaii. If you are tweeting your condolences, your memorials, use the hashtag Pearl Harbor 75, and that'll be compiled on Twitter through Facebook activity there. So if you want to come down, take a few pictures, tweet at KGUN9. We'd be happy to share that as well. And we spoke with a veteran earlier who's out here so early in the morning saying this was just the perfect way to pay tribute to those lives lost so many years ago. We'll be here all morning checking in with you, Pat, live at the mall at the U of A. Samantha Cortese, back to you.
I find myself looking every few minutes at the USS Arizona Twitter account to see historically what happened at this time 75 years ago. Thanks, Sam. Tucson's newest program to benefit homeless people while beautifying neighborhoods has officially begun. Participants in the Tucson Homeless Work Program will clean up weeds and debris for half of the day, and after their shift, they'll get a hot meal and access to showers, medical care, and other assistance. Right now, the pilot program has enough funding to last for 2 years. President-elect Donald Trump, well, he's now Time Magazine's Person of the Year, and he's formally introduced his pick to be the Department of Defense head as he took his thank you tour to Fayetteville, North Carolina. The rally last night also serving as a chance for Trump to visit a battleground state that was key to his upset election win last month. He spent much of the speech thanking military families for their support.
Thank you, everybody. The military families in North Carolina are a national treasure, and it will be the duty of my administration to ensure that we protect those who protect us.
Trump is set to visit Iowa and Michigan a little later on this week.
Thank you.
President Obama delivering his final national security speech. He spoke to a crowd at Florida's MacDill Air Force Base discussing how his administration has worked to prevent terrorism. He also targeted the national security policies that President-elect Trump talked about while campaigning.
The United States of America is not a place where some citizens have to withstand greater scrutiny or carry a special ID card or prove that they're not an enemy from within. We're a country that has bled and struggled and sacrificed against that kind of discrimination and arbitrary rule.
President Obama also said the U.S. military has helped to significantly weaken ISIS and al-Qaeda in the past 8 years. The investigation into the deadly Oakland warehouse fire carries on this morning. What does the man in charge of the property say about who should take the blame? Plus, fresh off a win, the chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe is asking pipeline protesters to leave. Why he's suggesting they all go home. 6:08, you're watching KGUN 9 on your side.